Hello, in this video we're going to look at an example of how you would select the AN hardware for a nut, bolt, washer and split pin in an aircraft environment. The AN specification in AN, Army, Navy is widely used throughout the aerospace or aviation industry. So the problem we have is we're told we need to put a 1/4 inch bolt through these 3 plates, and each of the plates is 0.1875 of an inch. Okay, so first off, we know the diameter of the bolt, it's a 1/4 inch. So bolt diameter is 1/4 inch, which is the equivalent of 4/16. So in the AN specification and in most aircraft specifications, the diameter is always in 1/16 of an inch. So a 1/4 inch is 4/16 of an inch. The grip length, okay, so the distance from here to here, so there's 3 plates, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Those 3 plates, they're all of 0.1875 of an inch. So they're 0.1875 of 6061 heat treated aluminium. So when I multiply that out, I get 0.5625 of an inch. And generally, the grip length is in 1/8 of an inch. So if the diameter is in 1/16, the grip length or the length is in 1/8 of an inch. So to convert 0.5625 inches to 1/8 of an inch, I'm just going to multiply it by 8. So that gives me 4.58 of an inch, which is the equivalent of 9/16 of an inch. Okay, having said that the grip length or length is normally in 1/8 of an inch, in this particular instance, it's in 1/16, and we'll see that in a second. But rule of thumb, the length is in 1/8 and the diameter is in 1/16. Okay, so this is our situation now. With the 3 plates, with a 4/16 inch diameter and with grip length of 9/16. So when I go to the reference charts, we have some detail here on the bolt. So we have the diameter, and I can see here the diameter is a 1/4 inch. So that's AN4 because it's 4/16. If it was a 5/16 diameter, it'd be an AN5. If it's a 6/16 or 3/8, it'd be an AN6. If it was a 7/16, 7/16 it'd be an AN7. Okay, so we need an AN4 bolt. And the 28 here, this tells me the number of threads per inch. So if there was an inch of threads there, there would be 28 inches on it. The other piece of information I have here on this bolt is that it's a class 3 bolt, and that refers to the fit between the bolt and the nut or the housing that the bolt is going into. So if that's the bolt, there's our pitch lengths of our various angles. When we put it into the nut or the housing, the gap between the thread of the bolt and the thread of the nut, that gap determines the class of fit. So if we had a loose fit, so if there's a nice gap, it'd be class 1, medium fit, class 3, and if these threads were bigger than these threads, we have an interference fit, that would be a class 5. Okay, so aircraft bolts are generally class 3, so you can't really turn them by hand. Well, you can, but it's a bit, they get a bit stiff, and that just makes it sense because they won't open as easily. So aircraft bolts are almost always class 3 fit. The other thing regarding the bolts is whether they have a hole to allow locking wire going through it or a hole for a split pin to go through them. So if there's a hole in the head, we put a H into the part number. Okay, so we already know our part number is an AN4. And if we want a locking wire, it's going to be AN4H. And then if we want a hole in the shank, we don't put a letter after the last digit, and this last digit is to do with the grip length. Okay, so in our case, we're going to need an AN4H dash something, and we'll exclude the letter A. We're also going to need a nut. So there's different types of nuts. So we're going to use a castellated nut, an AN310. So that will allow the split pin to go through here. And because it's a 4/16, the castle nut is going to be an AN310-4. Okay, so we have a castle nut, AN3-4. If I needed a nut for a 5/16, it'd be AN310-5. If I wanted for a 6/16 or 3/8, it'd be AN310-6. Okay, but we were on AN4, so it's AN310-4. Okay, so we know the diameter, it's 4/16, AN4, we know we need a hole in the head, so that's our H. Now we work out the grip length. Well, we know that the grip length, so from here to here, is 9/16. So I'm just going to get rid of that bolt and put in my own one here. So that's 9/16. So I'm going to need an AN4H-10. Okay, I'm going to need an AN4H-10. So if I come to 4, come down to my grip length of 9/16, and then I'm going to read across the dash number. Okay, we should put a washer, or at least one washer, on the bolt just in front of the nut, and the washers are AN960. Okay, so that's the spec AN960, and then we go along the dash numbers. So I know it's a 1/4 inch. Okay, so a 1/4 inch diameter bolt is going to need an AN960-416 washer. And then we can have a light washer, which is 0.032 of an inch, which is 0.5/16, or a regular washer, which is 0.063 of an inch. So I'm going to go in this case for the 0.032 because we have our grip length is exactly the length of the bolt, grip length in the bolt. So we're going to go with a 0.032. So we're going to go for a -416L for light. Okay, a -416L for light washer. Okay, so there's our washer, and I've made a mistake there. That should be 0.5. That's going to fit in, and we have our bolt, we have our washer, we have our nut, and the last thing then we need is our split pin. Okay, so when you go to a chart, and I found this chart on the LAS Aerospace website, you come down and you find the part number of the bolt, sorry, the nut. So it was an AN310, it was an AN310-4. That's a 1/4 inch, 28 threads per inch, and it's telling me this is the cotter pin to use, AN380-2-2. However, on the same chart, it's telling me that an AN380-2-2 has been replaced by a mil-spec 24665-132 cotter pin. So I'm going to go with this cotter pin here. So we're going to bring that back then, and now we have all the hardware. So we have an AN4H-10 bolt with an AN310-4 nut, an MS24665-132 cotter pin, and an AN960-416L washer. All right, nearly there, but somebody's probably going to say, well, you should have a washer underneath the head as well. Well, if we were to do that, then I'll put washers in here now at this, and if you remember when I looked at the washers, one was 0.5/16 That was the light one, and then the regular was 1/16, 0.032 of an inch. So if I go with the regular, so I'm dropping the L, and it is 1/16 in thickness. So then the length will be, there's 1/16, and there's 9/16. Okay, so I need a bolt with a grip length of 10/16, but it doesn't exist. The best I can do is 11. Okay, we get another 1/16, so that's 1. 9 is 10 plus 1 is 11. So if I go for 11 16th bolt, so our bolt now will be AN4H-11. The nut doesn't change, the split pin doesn't change, the washers have changed, so I've gone from the light washer to the regular washer. So I hope that was informative. Thank you.